Right, we are live. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Sometimes I've got to ask everyone again. Let's try that again. Good evening. But you were good. You were good. Good evening. Good evening to everyone tuned into our live stream. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending probably this evening, because it's a special format, closer to an hour with you. It is very much based on what we call our intro presentation. But as I said, it is a special format this evening, and we've left no clues. It's staring you in the face. This evening is what we call Tell All Tuesday. So this is something that we've been doing almost every single month for the last 4 years. It is opportunity for us to invite real people involved in our business to come up onto stage and to share their experience with all of us. And that is a lot of value. So as a guest this evening, you might know absolutely nothing about DuePoint, but I hope that the testimony resonates with you, because these are, with all the respect, normal individuals that have decided to engage in this business. And so we will learn from their experiences. We will understand what their journey has been like. This will be, I hope, of value to our guests, as well as our wealth engineers, so as well as the people already involved in our business, because we are all striving for one thing together. I won't mention what that one thing is. It is too obvious. And so the whole evening should only be about an hour. So it is still fairly concise. It's a short, sharp, very much a business proposition. And so this evening you are here at our head office, DuePoint's head office. We are a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company that has been in business for nearly 70 years. Yes, 70, not 17, 70 years. I will touch on our business and our structure, our company structure, a bit later on towards the end of the presentation. But DuePoint is fairly new. Our birthday is now. We are 4 years old. Yeah, so every anniversary of ours, we have our Converge, our awards evening on the weekend, which we've just had on Saturday, and we get to recognize the top performers in our business, which we did over Saturday. And so you'll see for the rest of the week, if you jump onto our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, you will see those award winners. You will see the highlights of that event. It is a very exclusive, auspicious event, and so you get to share in that as a community, and so that'll be broadcast throughout the week. A little bit of context before we carry on, because that's important. As I said, this is a business proposition. I'm proposing business to you, to our guests, to the new people looking at our business for the first time. And so I am inviting you into partnership with us, but I want to give you some context, because I want you to understand the vision of our business. This is probably the most important aspect of what we deliver to any new person, because often people that join our business don't actually fully understand what we're trying to achieve. And so I want to share that with you. So when we founded this business, so we're actually older than 4 years old. Our doors have been open for 4 years, but we started designing and building and structuring the business for almost a year before we opened our doors. And when we created the business, our aspirations for creating the business was to allow people to come get involved in entrepreneurship in the hope that they would empower themselves, and with the net effect, with the result being that they create social, financial impact for themselves. And so what we did was we created a business very much centered around not just entrepreneurship, but social entrepreneurship. As I said, we've opened our doors literally to anyone in South Africa to come join us in this business. And that is what we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to be discussing this opportunity, this business, and your role in it, and what that potential might be for you. And so our mandate together. What is involved in this partnership? What are you asking me to do? That would be my first question. What do you want from me in this partnership? What we want to achieve is to create greater channels of distribution for this business. We want this social entrepreneurship, this social financial impact that we want to serve to the community to reach every single corner of South Africa. Right? I can't do that on my own. We have a business of almost 10 individuals in our business. It's massively scalable because of the partnership that we've opened the business to. And that's where you come in. We ask you only to connect this business to other individuals in South Africa by just telling them about the opportunity, just telling them that it exists, inviting them to come to a presentation similar to this. And if you can do that successfully, and the result being people joining our business, well, then you get to enjoy the benefits of what this business aims to serve to its wealth engineers. Let's go through those benefits. So this you'll be able to weigh up very quickly whether you are interested in joining this partnership or not. One of the primary benefits is that we're able to create recurring income every single month for people that are successfully involved in this business, right? When I talk about recurring income, it is a very important point to discern because it separates us from many other business opportunities. What do I mean by that? You're getting involved in an insurance company. I'm sure most of you are employed. Some of you might have tried opening up your own businesses. Some of you might own your own businesses. You will appreciate the fact that many businesses don't create recurring income. They don't create annuity income. What is annuity income? Annuity income is to be able to separate yourself from creating income and your direct involvement, your activity to create that income, right? So what's a good example of that? Well, insurance companies. Insurance companies have a tangible asset called a book value. A book value is where we draw our income in from every single month. It is in the form of annuity income. If we closed our doors today, right? You came to our office tomorrow morning and there was a big closed sign on the door. And we stayed closed for the next 6 months. We would still create income every single month. Why? Because we have a book value that creates that income. In my previous business, right, I ran an ad agency for about 15 years of my life, created no annuity income. If I put a closed sign on that business, there would be zero income the moment it was closed, right? Why? Because our activity and our income were like glued together. What is the problem with that? Why is that such a bad thing? Because it means I've got to work for the rest of my life to make an income. And I realized after 15 years I did not want that. My father warned me. He warned me. He said, get involved in business that pays you while you're sleeping. I didn't know what he was talking about. He was talking about this. Freeing yourself of that activity constraint. As employees, you're directly constrained by activity because your employment contract says you will go to work at this time. You can go home at this time. You can have a lunch hour. You can have a tea break. You can have this much leave. You have a baby. You can have that much leave. It is explicit. And if anything threatens your ability to be active, your livelihood is threatened. That's why we're here this evening. So why am I preaching to the choir? Because I want you to be able to appreciate the difference between a business like this and someone who comes to you tomorrow and says, come look at this business. We are not a sales business. We're not commission-based, right? We are a business that allows you to create a stake for yourself in an insurance company that allows you to create real annuity income, right? And that's very important. And that's why it's our number one benefit. You get to enjoy the power duplication. We allow you to build a team around you that can help you build this thing called a channel of distribution, right? If you have people collaborating with you in your team, you can build a channel much faster and greater than you can on your own, which means that your income can grow exponentially in this business, right? At the same time, our business is extremely flexible in the fact that we invest heavily in technology. In the last year, we have invested nearly 7 million rand in IT. Why? Because it makes business for our partners, for our wealth engineers, much easier, much simpler, way more convenient, right? And so know that you can build a channel of distribution from anywhere in the country. And our testimony this evening, the wealth engineers that we're inviting onto stage this evening are going to speak from that fact because all of them are outside of Joburg. Some of them live on farms. They only see animals, not people. Right? Yet they have still been able to build business for themselves. What person do you know that has been able to build a stake in an insurance company from a farm? You can do it in this business, right? Our business is very much built around wealth creation. But on the flip side, wealth protection goes hand in hand with the ability to create wealth. We want to protect our wealth at the same time. This is reflected in our products. which I'm going to introduce you to shortly, but also in the fact that you have a free legal access service available for every single wealth engineer free of charge. What is it? It's basically a lawyer at your disposal 24 hours a day. Absolutely free. Think about that. I'm married to a lawyer. They're expensive. And I don't even ask for services. Right? As an active wealth engineer, you get that service absolutely free. And this weekend, we launched another service that's absolutely free, and that's our medical service. So now you have a lawyer and a doctor at your disposal 24 hours a day for nothing. Right? Low risk. We have purposely designed this business to have very, very, very little risk attached to it. Why? Because our greatest aspiration as founders of the business is to create a business that is the solution in our country that creates financial impact, social impact. We can't do it by attaching a price tag to this opportunity. You should feel absolutely no fear when considering joining this business. There should be no fear. There should be no, I've got to think about it, I'm worried about it, this is a big step for me, I've got to take this leap of faith. There should be none of that, right? You should be free to consider doing this business. Even though you know nothing about building a channel from day one. You still have liberty to join, get started, go through that learning curve because there's no risk. There's nothing to lose. There's no downside. At the same time, we don't have experience or qualification requirements. And then for me, always the most important thing to understand about our business is that you're going to be building something here at DuePoint that you have ownership over. It is treated as a legal asset that you have legal tender over. This channel of distribution, the stake in our business, you own it. You can sell it. It will never retrench you. Who can say that? Who can say I'll never be retrenched? Right? It will never retire you. How many of us are looking forward to our retirement because it's looking golden? How many of us? Right? It's just not part of our society anymore, where people get to retire comfortably. It isn't, unfortunately. I experience it. My father's forced to work. He's in his 70s. My mother-in-law is starting to palm off expenses onto us. And she's not even retired yet. This is the state of society for the majority of us, right? You get to build something here at DuePoint that you own. It is going to carry on paying you that recurring income beyond your retirement. Through your 60s, through your 70s, through your 80s, through your 90s, even when you're 100, DuePoint might still be paying you. And even beyond death, because assets don't disappear when you die. A funeral plan's not enough. It isn't. That's the minimum that we do. This business is not about the minimum. It's about thriving. It's not about surviving. It's about living the greatest life you can live and passing that on to the next generation. Who would like to pass wealth on to their children? All of us, right? How many of us do you think in South Africa pass wealth on to our children? How many of us become a burden to our children currently? Many of us, right? We want to change that. And so know that every single minute you spend in DuePoint, you are building something you own that will outlive you. That's called legacy. That's when you're proud of the life you've lived, right? And that's what we want to achieve here at DuePoint. And then finally, there's no selling involved. How many of our guests ask the first question, what are we selling? What are you talking to me about? What are we selling? I don't want to sell anything. You don't get to sell anything here at DuePoint. Right? We exclude you from that explicitly in our contract with you. Our contract says you do not speak about product. That's wonderful. You don't have to sell. I'll do the selling. I'll tell everybody about the product. Our website will do that job, right? Your only mandate is to go out and connect people to this opportunity. That is your only mandate. Not to convince them, just to tell them, come look for yourself. Come put your bum on a chair for 35 minutes. Focus and make a decision. That's all you have to do, right? And the products we are going to be showing people are intangible. We have got financial products that are focused on wealth creation and wealth protection. They're intangible. There's no boxes here. There's no starter kits. There's no samples you have to buy. There's nothing you're putting in your boot this evening. Unless you steal one of our towels from the bathroom. Right, and so, just because we have intangible products makes this business convenient already to do. Right? Because our stock and distribution is taken care of by IT systems in the cloud. You never have to bat an eyelid over a product in this business. But your success is very much dependent on your ability to build this thing called the channel of distribution. It begins with you. You've got to make that commitment to go, yes, I want to do this. I want to become a wealth engineer. Right? And you become a product owner. And most importantly, you decide. You make that decision that you're going to tell people about the business. And if you can do that, statistically, factual, people will join the business. They will. If you go tell people about this business, a percentage will join. Why? Because the necessity exists. They join pretty much for the same reason you've joined. Right? And in this little example, this person has connected 5 people. That's the only effort they've put in. They've put in 5 people. Those 5 have gone out and started connecting other people. That is the power of duplication. That is what allows you to build your income exponentially in this business. Right? Exponentially. Not linear. Exponentially. This is what you own. Every single dot represents a product where you're being paid every single month an annuity based on the stake you've created in this business. You can sell it. It's never going to retrench you. It's never going to retire you. You get to seed it on to your children, your grandchildren, your spouse one day. How do we pay our wealth engineers? On the 17th, typically, of every single month, they get a magic SMS from the bank saying, money's been put in the bank account. Normally when you get an SMS, you know what it is. You don't even look. At the end of the month, you know. I know when the debit orders are going off. Right? In the middle of the month, you get that one SMS. The one SMS that says, DuePoint has credited your bank account. All our qualified wealth engineers get that SMS every single month, whether they're working or not. How do we pay them? Very straightforward. Based on this table, depending on where the product lies in relation to you. When you go out and connect people directly, that is called your first point. Anyone you introduce to this business personally falls on your first point. Look at the table. On point 1, you get paid 55 Rand. You get paid 55 Rand, regardless of what product those people take. You get paid 55 Rand for every product on your first point, every month. Go out and connect 10 people this week. We're going to be paying you 550 Rand a month. That's 6,000 Rand a year you've just made for yourself. Those people go introduce people on your second point. On your second point, again, you get paid 55 Rand a month. Those people go out and connect people on your third point. So on and so forth. As your channel grows organically, that's why we say it grows organically, naturally, right? The further the product gets away from you, the multiplier starts to drop. All the way out at point 8. If you've got a big channel that's all the way out to point 8, you're still earning 1 Rand 10 for every product on that point and beyond. That's why there's a plus sign next to the 8, because we don't limit the size of your channel at DuePoint. There's no limitation to the size of stake you can have in this business. It is up to you. It is unlimited. Your earnings are unlimited in this business. There is no ceiling to it. Think about the job you do right now. Right? So in my head, creative director, designer, creative director. I can go into Google right now and say, how much do creative directors earn in South Africa? It'll say between 30,000 Rand and maybe 50,000 Rand a month, if you're good. That's my box I've been put in. That's my box. Directly tied to activity. Can I earn 60,000 Rand a month? If you're really lucky. How about 70,000 Rand a month? Probably not. If you're a lawyer, if you're a hairdresser, an electrician, a plumber, a stockbroker, you're placed in boxes. In entrepreneurship, that box is removed. That's why this business is entrepreneurial. If you want to earn 500,000 Rand a month, no one is stopping you besides yourself. Right? Go look. Well, then you can ask, well, is that possible? Go look at the shareholders in insurance companies in South Africa. Go tell me what they're earning every single year. Go tell me what they're worth. They are billionaires. Right? This is your opportunity. This is the business that you can get yourself involved in, that you have ownership over. in the short term, right? So maybe that's long-term vision. You thought, I came here just to make 1,000 rand a month. Now he's talking about taking over the insurance company in South Africa. We understand this business serves necessity. You are here because hopefully this business can do something for you this month, right? I want to show you what the business can do for you, not only in the short term, but over 60 months, over 5 years, right? And so we have this, what we call a path to success. It is a 5-year journey of someone who's been quite moderate in the business. They've only connected 2 new people onto their first point every single month, right? 2 new people every single month. Those 2 new people, some duplicate, some don't. Let's see what it does for you. After 6 months, you could be earning around 2,500 rand a month. That might do a lot for you. You might be here for more. After 1 year in the business, you're close to 9,000 a month. You see how quickly it jumped? Why? Because you can untap exponential growth in your channel through the power duplication. After 2 years in the business, you're going to be close to 28,000 rand a month. I'm going to go through this quickly. After 3 years in the business, 50,000 rand a month. After 4 years in the business, close to 70,000 rand a month. After 5 years, 60 months of doing this. 2 people joining your first point every single month. You're going to be close to 85,000 rand a month. That's 1 million rand a year in annual recurring income. Can you imagine that for yourself? How many problems would that solve? 85 grand a month. Recurring. You could take the next 3 months off. You don't have to put in leave with HR like I have to do. You don't have to tell your boss. You don't have to worry about your income dropping because you're not working over the 3 months. DuePoint will pay you every single month. Right? Why? Because the business is based on an asset you built. It is not commission. It is not sales. It is not activity related. Right? And so, we have got thousands of people joining our business every single month. Everybody is different. Everyone's journey is different. But, for yourself, know and appreciate that the system that you're engaging in, the partnership that you're entering into, the system is identical for every single person. Whether you live on a farm in a rural area, whether you're in the middle of a city, whether you just don't like leaving home, the opportunity is identical for every single person, and the potential is unlimited. And so you're at liberty this evening to decide what you want out of DuePoint. You might have arrived with a certain impression. I want you to leave with a different impression. What would you like DuePoint to do for you? Make that decision. And let your imagination run wild. I hope your imagination runs wild when I talk to you. When I tell you about this business, right? Because I've seen wealth engineers get involved in this business and even their expectations were exceeded. And that is exciting to see that happen for individuals. On top of the returns program, we have what we call a rewards program. So this is additional benefit over and above the recurring income that we pay our wealth engineers every single month. The rewards program works like this. When your channel starts to grow in size, you reach milestones. We call them ranks. And when you meet these rank sizes, well, then you get all these different rewards, from cash checks to tools, trips overseas, cars, all kinds of things await you in the rewards program, right? So one of the first notable ones, rank 5, you get a business toolkit made up of DuePoint merchandise. At rank 7, we spend 17,000 rand getting you very special business cards manufactured in your name. That's a picture of the business cards there. You can go see samples on our website. You can go see them in the cabinet. Think about that for a second. I don't ever see shock on people's faces. Let me say it again. We spend 17,000 rand on one set of business cards for you. Now you might be thinking, well, that's just stupid. I come from an advertising background. It is not stupid, right? It is a clever trick to get people to look at you. And they might have only met you for a minute, but when you put a 17,000 rand business card in someone's hands, it suddenly separates you from every other person that has come to them trying to sell them something. Because no one else has got 17,000 rand business cards. At rank 9, we get to invite you and your family to our rank 9 international conference. Not once, but every single year for the rest of your life. We fly business class. It's all expenses paid. It's a 5-star luxury resort. It's 7 days away. You do not spend a cent. You don't spend a cent. We get to come pick you up in your driveway and take you to the airport, to the business class lounge, fly you to a remote destination. It's not a farm in Knysna. It's overseas. It's more exotic, more exotic. And you really get to experience what it feels like to be wealthy. And that's different for each of us. But let me tell you, when you can look at a menu without looking at the prices, you feel wealthy. And you get to enjoy that for a week with your family, with other rank 9 and above wealth engineers. And you get to know that as long as you maintain that channel size, and hopefully you'll be growing it, that you'll get that invitation every single year. To be able to tell your family you're taking them overseas every single year, there's something magical about that. So I want to show you the video because we've already been on 4 of our trips. I want you to see exactly what it looks like. I always invite everyone, you can take your shoes off so you can pretend your feet are in the sand. What do you think about that? The record's 5 months to get to rank 9. By rank 9, you're earning about 20,000 Rand a month. And we're only getting started. 2 ranks later, we spend R250,000 buying you a brand new car. A brand new car paid for in cash that you get to take home. No finance, no debit order at the end of the month. See, we've taken one of those horrible SMSs out of your phone. The debit order, we've taken one away from you, right? And perhaps a few, now that you don't have to take your family on holiday. We'll do that at our expense. So that is a sneak peek into the rewards program. I've shown you up to rank 11. Our rewards program goes up to rank 28 so far. Lynette's already shown that she's broken the system, so we've got to invent new things. Someone will get to rank 28. And then we'll have more ranks that we'll have to create, right? Getting bigger and better, making you wealthier with permanent, sustainable wealth that's not tied to activity. So that is what the rewards program looks like. So you have the recurring income every single month. You've got the rewards program to look forward to introduce you to our product range. Our products have been designed, they have been innovated around the same principles that the business opportunity enshrines. Wealth creation, wealth protection, and to remove discrimination from that, right? We've been able to remove any risk profiling from our products. So take a look. One of the first products is Access Wealth. I'm going to go through these briefly. We've got way more in-depth information on our website that you're free to go look at. So Access Wealth is an investment product. It's an investment and an insurance product rolled into one. It's going to cost you 334 Rand a month, right? 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund, so you're building wealth there. And then you have 125,000 Rands worth of personal accident death protection. With all our products, the price is the same. Anyone over the age of 18 can join. Right? There's no risk profiling. There's no forms. There's no medicals. No nurse is going to come visit you. We're not going to question your sugar levels when you put in a claim. Thank you. Right? And so know that regardless, you could be 85, you could be diabetic, you could have heart condition. Know that the price is the same for everybody. The price is the same for everyone. Wealth Guard is another product. It is insurance only. It's going to cost you 249 Rand a month. This is R1,000,000 worth of personal accident death cover through Wealth Guard. Then we have Family Wealth, which is a funeral cover product. It starts at 299. It gives you 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover. Covers up to 5 family members. You can increase the cover up to 30,000 Rand as well as up to 10 family members. You also get 10,000 Rands worth of death protection or liability protection with the product. There are no excluded pre-existing conditions with the product. Right? Again, so anyone can join Family Wealth. Any one of your family members. There is an age limit on this product of 70. You have to join before you reach 70. But once you join, it becomes whole of life. You can live to 120. We will still cover you with Family Wealth. Right? Then we have legal indemnity in the form of legal guards. It's going to cost you only 249 Rand a month. You get 250,000 Rands worth of legal indemnity per matter with this product, with a host of legal services that's available to you, to the extent where they'll go with you to CCMA matters, right? They deal a lot with landlord-tenant disputes. I'm dealing with one at the moment. You get to enjoy all of that at absolutely no cost, to have a lawyer at your disposal 24 hours a day, right? Plus the fact that you get 250,000 Rands worth of legal indemnity. And then finally, we've got Wealth Points. Wealth Points aims to lower the money you're spending, lower that amount of expenditure that you have every single month. Think about all the money you spend every single month, right? You spend it with a host of businesses, and probably the same businesses, right? Voice, data, petrol, whatever it is. We have partnered with a whole bunch of companies. We've negotiated discounts with them and services that all our Wealth Points members are free to use as often as they want every single month. Right? And so we hope that our Wealth Points partners are able to lower the amount of money that they're spending every single month. And if you can do that, you can get rid of your debt sooner. You can grow wealth faster. Right? And then we've got the free services. These are DuePoint benefits that are absolutely free for every active wealth engineer. So I already mentioned the legal access benefit, which is a lawyer at your disposal 24 hours a day. It doesn't have that indemnity that the Legal Guard product has, but you still get to speak to a lawyer at any time of the day. And then the new medical benefit, which we launched this weekend at Converge, allows you to access a doctor 24 hours a day, right? And the beautiful thing is that they actually specialize in pediatrics. Anyone got kids? That's probably the biggest panic when you have kids and you need to know the kids just drank something out the bottom of the cupboard and you don't know what it is. You need to find a doctor quickly. It's 10 o'clock at night. Your option is to rush to casualty. Here you can find someone. Qualified doctor will tell you what the issue is, right, and whether you need to seek any further advice, right? Brendan was just saying to me on this product, right, we get a lot of statistics from the medical industry. 80% of doctors' visits don't result in prescriptions. Don't result in prescriptions. And so you're going to the expense of seeing a doctor thinking that you're going to need a prescription, where 80% of the time results in not getting a prescription. That means that if you're an active wealth engineer using Medical, that 80% of your doctor's visits are going to be absolutely free because you'll never have to go to the doctor. The doctor that you speak to over the phone will tell you, go get this, this, and this. So those are the products and the benefits as DuePoint Wealth Engineers. You can go watch the in-depth review videos of each of our products. This will give you a much greater sense of appreciation of the value of each of those products. Like I said, the products have been innovated for South Africans and for wealth engineers, right? So go watch those videos so that you really understand what you're buying. The Achiever Quest, this is a wonderful opportunity for people that need money now. Should I ask you if you need money now, or should I just tell you what you get? I'll just tell you what you get. So the Achiever Quest is a monthly incentive that's available for all wealth engineers. If you need more than what you can get in the short term, right, the Achiever Quest is how you do it. But you've got to go do the work. If you can connect just 10 people or more, we will boost your return for that month. So if you're able to connect 10 people in a single month who pay successfully in the same month, we'll give you an additional 5,000 Rand on top of your returns and rewards. If you're able to do 20 people, we will give you 10,000 Rand on top of your returns and rewards. If you're able to do 30, we'll give you an extra 15,000 on top of your returns and rewards. You can do this every single month. So while you're building your channel, while it's growing, while your income is growing, you can boost your income by up to 15,000 a month. That's 180,000 Rand annually that you can boost your income in your first year here at DuePoint. All right, so Achiever Quest is a wonderful short-term incentive. A little bit of background on our business, because I imagine, so I look at myself, if I came to this presentation, I would be highly skeptical. That's just in my nature. Non-trusting. Non-trusting. I've got to do the research myself, and that is the key. I have to do the research myself before I believe anything, right? I prefer people coming in skeptical. It means you are thinking. It means you are questioning. But you have to answer the skepticism. You can't leave with the same skepticism. And so it's very important that you understand that the business that is inviting you into partnership, you've got to figure out whether this business is a business you can trust or not. Right? And so go do your homework, please. Go to the DuePoint website. Go to our principal's website, Constantia, right? They're just up the road here on William Nicol. Go to their website. Know that we are a registered insurance company. It means we are regulated by the financial regulator. You can go to the financial regulator's website, type in Constantia. They will show you all the financial licenses that we have. There's the FSP number that we operate under. We are part of a larger group called Conduit Capital. Conduit Capital is a listed entity. We are on the Joburg Stock Exchange. We are audited publicly because we're a public company. Now, don't believe me just because I told you. Go do your homework. Why? Because when you go out and you place this responsibility of connecting other people into this business, you must be very sure that you're doing that responsibly. Right? And at the same time, if you trust the business, people will see that trust in your behavior. Right? And so it's a very important step. Go do that for yourself. The decision I really want you to make is not one of whether you want to join this business or not. I'm not speaking to the people that are still going, I'm not talking to those people. The people that are getting involved in this business, for me, the decision that you have to make is how do you fit DuePoint into your life? Not as a lover. Maybe as a lover. Just a small, regular commitment that allows you to build a channel without losing interest. This is not a New Year's resolution. This is not a hobby. This is not something we do when we feel like it. This business has been designed from the outset 5 years ago to save people's lives. Think about that. I was speaking to Philip earlier. He was saying, I hope people get involved in this business before they need it. Not when they need it, before they need it, right? Do that for yourself. It's a small, regular commitment, not a big commitment. And so, we're at that part of the evening where we only use up half the slide because people are going to come join us on stage. So bring up your chairs and come join me on stage. I'm going to sit right in the middle of all of you. There we go. Let me help you there, Teresa. Okay. There you go. Grab a seat. You can use the step if you need to. Let me grab the microphone. All right. So we have got 3 sets of wealth engineers here. We've got Peter and Paige. Desmond, you can see they're from, I didn't put where you're from. I'm going to let you tell us where you're from. But we've got 3 sets of wealth engineers. They're from different parts of the country. They are not in Johannesburg. That's key. They're not in Johannesburg. And whether you're in Johannesburg or not doesn't matter. But all 3 of these wealth engineers are building their channels remotely. And so the testimony that I think is going to come across this evening is, can I build this channel from anywhere in the country? How can I do it? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Do I see myself doing it? Right? So hopefully some of the testimony will resonate with you. Let me come sit in the middle. So if we look at the different sizes, you'll see we've got the names of everyone above us and their channel sizes. So we've got varying sizes. We've got Paige and Peter. They've got 43 people in their business. I'm Teresa. Teresa's got 105 people in her channel. And then Philip's got nearly 800 people in his channel. So I think you've got to talk really into the microphone, like a lover. Okay. So Peter, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, and maybe give us just a brief description of what your town is like.
Okay. Peter and Paige. Peter and Paige. And I'm from Kokstad, a small town in Eastern Cape, or Kokstad is actually, there's a confusion between Kokstad being from Kokstad or Eastern Cape. We're on the fringe of a small town in KZN, and we are a very, very small but very vibrant town, and we are very vibrant because we are very populated, but very populated insofar as our vibrancy.
I need to go visit Kokstad. Sounds vibrant. Paige, give us an idea of, I think, why you joined the business. What kind of connected with you? Why did you decide to get involved and get cracking?
Well, our story is a bit different. We had the product since 2016, and I was a happy camper. I had my investment, and towards the end of 2018, going into 2019, I'm a professional nurse. I work long hours, busy. And Peter is an estate agent, and the industry there is also very rocky at the moment. And we looked at our pension and we said it's not going to work. And my sister, who actually introduced us to the product in the beginning, she's not active in the business. She has a big business of her own. But she said to me, "You've got it already." And the challenge is, do we know what we have in our hands? Have we really received it? And I embraced it. I received it. And having watched my brother and my sister develop their businesses, over 5-6 years of hard work, they have developed their own businesses. One is in the chicken egg industry. The other one is in digital industry. And we have an incredible business in our hands. So I embraced every single product. I use every product. It's all about investment. It's all about spending less than you earn. It's all about covering our assets. And really embracing what you have, receiving what we have. And we sow the seed, and we're growing the business. I love it.
Good. I think we're going to touch on a little more, but let's move on to Teresa. Tell us where you're from, is it a little town? Not really. It's a fairly big town.
Hi everybody, I'm Teresa. I'm from a little town, Knysna, in the Western Cape, and it's actually a beautiful town to live in. I mean, I'm literally a minute away from water. drive down there, I see the water, I go running, I see the water. In actual fact, I love it. I've been there for 3 years now, moved there from Port Elizabeth. And that's where Knysna for me is actually living almost the ideal lifestyle. I mean, if I think about it, I get up in the morning and the first thing I normally do is I go out for a run. And especially in summer now, I run from my house or go drive to a place called Leisure Island, which is right, little island in Knysna. I run around the island and then I have a little dip in the water. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, isn't that a lifestyle?
So how did someone convince you to joining this business and stealing a little bit of that time away from running around islands?
Well, although I have the lifestyle, I don't have the money, okay? So that's the thing. You've got to have a combination of both. I've got to be able to not have to worry about how am I going to pay for my rent, how am I going to buy my food, how am I going to pay for the petrol in the car. So that's the biggest thing. I may have the lifestyle and I love it and I never want to ever change it, but I don't have the money to really actually sit back and, do nothing. So that's why I'm in this business, is because I really want to earn that recurring monthly income, that I can enjoy that lifestyle to its fullest. And as I'm getting older, of course, I've got to have an income. I've got to have something that's going to support me. So that's the reason why I'm in this business. The main thing is for that recurring income, to be able to sustain myself as I get older and to carry on enjoying my lifestyle in Knysna. And I'm sure you're all envious.
You'll have to retire back to Joburg if it doesn't work out.
No, in actual fact, I'm actually originally from Johannesburg, and coming back here was a little bit of an eye-opener because I left in the 80s. And I came here to see what's happening. And I was quite shocked. I stayed in Parkmore for a few days, and all of this place was all gated with all gates all around. I thought, oh my God, no, I'm so happy I live in Knysna. We don't have that. But in actual fact, I'm now I stayed in Berari for the last 2 days. It was actually lovely, because when you live out of Johannesburg, everyone has got this impression of Johannesburg. This is like the gangster paradise, and everyone's, one of the comments, one of my friends on Facebook said, "Oh, you've come to Crime City." So it's quite a scary place, actual fact.
From the outside, I can imagine, yeah.
So people think that people are not living normally here, basically. So, I've actually enjoyed it. And people do live normally, although they've got to have security. But yes, but I'll still choose Knysna.
Yeah, look, I think realistically that plays into the hands of DuePoint, because you can build your business without leaving your gated community.
No, Johannesburg, perfect.
Yeah. Philip, you've moved recently, so I think tell us where you were, where it all started.
Yeah. I moved down. I've swapped over with Teresa basically. I was in Port Elizabeth, and then I ran into a whole series of difficulties in my personal life, financial life. Basically, I lost everything. I'm not gonna elaborate too much on that. And I moved down to George to go live on a farm with my sister, who has an equestrian school, and she was doing equitherapy for special needs kids. And she did, because it's a non-profit organization, it was relying on support from the government, which was then taken away. When you've got a small business like that and you're one-man show, you do all the work, but you haven't got time for advertising and marketing. So ostensibly I went down originally just to go help her with that. And I was not in a very good place in my life, and shortly after I'd moved down there, I had a very, very, very bad accident, and found myself, kind of bedridden for 3 months. And okay, we're going to cut that story short, otherwise we're going to smack everyone said. But basically, working with these special needs kids, you work with kids that have cerebral palsy and autism. There's a tremendous problem down in that area with fetal alcohol syndrome, the FAS kids. And 6 weeks of that, and I realized my problems are really insignificant. So it was the best thing that I could have done. It saved my soul, so to say. And then it prompted me to say, okay, get off your ass, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and find something to do, because I had no income. I'd lost all my savings basically. I'd lost a family member. My marriage had broken up. So, and then I'd lost physically I'd broken my back in a car accident. So anyway, enough of that. So I was then looking around for something to do, and I was almost at the point of creating my own business and starting my own business. And that was the Thursday, the Monday we were ready to go with a partner of mine, and it was in a similar line of what I'm doing now. And the Saturday, my brother sent me a link on a SMS and just said, someone showed me this thing, I'm not interested in this stuff, and I know you, or have a look at it. And that was DuePoint. Then exactly 2 hours after I opened that link, I phoned my partner and said, we're off. We're not doing this. Everything that we aspire to, we want to do, is right here in this business. So why do we have to go to all this expense and go through all this steep learning curve when it's all done for us? And that was the beginning of my journey. That was November 2018. It took me till February the 7th to actually join, because I had some other things going that I had to get rid of. But from the moment I looked at that video the first time, it was a no-brainer pretty much from that, because of the professionalism and the spark, and you could just see that this was something different, and the products that I was looking for and the way that I wanted to operate, I had it all set up already, but this was all done for me. So the most important thing was that, because remember, I was sitting on a farm, and trust me, the people that lived on that farm, worked on the farm, the horses, the ducks, and the geese had enough about DuePoint. So I had to work outside of that. I couldn't drive anywhere. Because being, it's about 20 kilometers away from the nearest person, and then it was still outside of George. So it was pretty remote. So I had to find something that I was going to do via using social media. And this was the perfect vehicle, because it's easy to send information to people via, or attract attention and then send information to people. But if it's not good quality, and what it had to do for me is it had to stand in my stead. I wasn't there to explain this stuff. I'm sending you a WhatsApp. So the video that I attached to that had to be professional. It had to be sus and to the point, carry across, create excitement, do all the stuff that we're doing here tonight without me ever speaking to somebody. And then, from February the 7th till the end of March, I pretty much did nothing, and because I was getting myself organized and that. And then I took off, and I really took off. I started advertising via social media. In my first month, my first 3 weeks, I did 18 people, and I had absolutely no clue whether it was good or bad. And DuePoint have got this wonderful thing that come out on the 20th every month called the Movers and Shakers, and I saw I was third in the company, so I thought, okay, maybe that's not too bad. But then I saw my lead with wealth engineers, because DuePoint have a meeting that they do called Converge, not Converge, the encounters that they do in every town. And then I went through to Port Elizabeth to go meet with my lead wealth engineers. So I signed under 2 people that I'd known previously, very long time ago, but never met them. And so that was the start of what I did. And then it grew from there. And I just developed it and streamlined it. And then got to the point where my business stood still, because I wasn't, I just got too busy and I wasn't doing the right things. And Rudolph and Marcia met me and drove down to make a special effort to come and meet me in Port Elizabeth. We sat and we had a chat, and they pointed out a couple of things and said, try this, try that. Went back to George, carried on, and then my business took off again. And then 3 months later, I did 60 people in a month. And then I was well on my way.
You were. So Philip is one of our fastest growing wealth engineers. He received the bulk of the awards over the weekend, and he's done everything remotely from an equestrian farm. Philip, can you sum up kind of the benefits that suit your circumstance in our business?
Well, Rob, obviously I had to create an income. I had sold all my assets. I'd cashed in some policies and sold my house. So I had a dwindling reserve. It's one thing to say that let's go live off the grid and rely on rainwater, and you've got 5 tanks full of water but no rain. It's a bit of a problem, because you can see that water dwindling the whole time and there's nothing filling it up. And I was in that situation, and it's very, very stressful. And luckily with DuePoint, in a question of 10 months, I built up an income and a channel value of about 20,000 rand. So what happened was, I just recently moved to Port Elizabeth, from George back to Port Elizabeth, and that decision was taken out of our hands, because the property that we were staying on was, we were told, okay, you come to the end of your lease, and because I was staying with my sister and we were sharing, she had to then move to where the horses were. So I was in a situation where I just, from 1 month to the next, I had to find a new place to stay. But now I had the income. So now it wasn't as stressful as what it was. If that had happened 6 months before that, I honestly wouldn't have known what to do. So it's allowed me then to go look, to find a place. I can pay rent. I've got a car to drive. I've got food to eat, and those prospects weren't there. About 6 or 7 months before that. It's allowed me to make an effort to now recover my health, to get fit again. But the most important thing, Rob, I think, is there is light at the end of the tunnel. There wasn't. I don't think anybody. I think, well, I'm not saying nobody will understand, but when you wake up in the morning and you're on such a deep dark hole that you can't see the light, it's not a nice place to be. And as soon as I joined DuePoint, it was easier to get out. It made it possible to get out of bed for the day because there was something to aspire to. So I got stuck into that, and it changed the prospects. I just look at the last 10 months that I've been involved with. Not only has it changed my life, but it's changed my horizons and the prospects that I have in front of me. The other thing that it did, sorry, I'm going off the question that you asked me, but the other thing that it did for me, and I've always been very, very, I find where my happiness comes from is helping other people. And this has allowed me to do that. I have about 120 odd people on my front line, on my first point, and about 700 people in my channel. And to date, within about 10 months, I have made a significant difference in about 10 people's lives that I know of. There are other people down there that I didn't even know about. But personally, I know that because of my involvement and the effort that I made to get this message out to them, that there are people out there, there are young single mothers with 3 children whose funds are completely dried up. The father's not paying money anymore to them, but they can manage to get to the end of the month because of this little bit of income that they've managed to create by following the system that I gave to them. So that is the most important thing for me, and that is what this business is about. Yes, it's about wealth creation, it's about changing your life, it's about doing all those things, but that is what's value about it. So it's a very, very easy decision to make, because not only can you create that kind of do that for other people, not only can you change your life through the financial decisions that you're going to make tonight, but you can make a significant impact on someone's life. You don't even know who it's going to be, but just that prospect keeps me going every day. That, like I said the last time I did this, I've got a 5-year journey that I'm going on, that I committed to. That I know by the end of that 5-year journey, then hopefully I won't have financial stress anymore, because I don't do the financial stress thing so well. I don't think anyone does. But in that journey, I hope to have impacted. If it was only, I said then, if it was only 5 people, that would be enough for me. I've already impacted 10 people's lives, and they, through the impact that I made on their lives, have impacted other people's lives. So this company and Rob and them talk about social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is just a word, but that's what it's about. No, it's making that impact on other people's lives.
Thank you.
I could go on forever.
Teresa, I think maybe try allow us to understand what value you place on DuePoint. At least the journey you've been on the last few years, what does it mean to you? If we took it away.
Okay. Well, if you took DuePoint away, I wouldn't have, it would take away your hope, actual fact, and your belief. Because if I didn't have DuePoint, what would I have? I'd have to go back and find a job. Working in a job, it's a dead-end situation. It could be there, it could be, and as you're getting older, you're definitely not going to get a job. So where would I end up? I'm single, I'm divorced, I've got 4 children, I don't own a house, I don't actually own anything. So where would I end up? If you want to think of the retirement villages, you're looking at 20,000 Rand a month to just go and stay in one. My mom is in a situation at the moment where she is 86 years of age, and she's staying with my sister, and she's relying on her children to look after her. That is the situation. That's the stark reality of, if you don't do something, you're going to end up like that. And a lot of people that you speak to, they don't think about it. Even if they're 50 or 60, they just don't they think, oh, well, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But you can't think like that. You have to get out there. So that, for me, is the main reason I'm actually in this business, is because I have to sort myself out. I've never had anyone that actually has really, paid for me and looked after me. I've always been a survivor, and I've always looked after myself. And having 4 children, it's been a very expensive journey in the last few years. And so all the money that you've ever made has actually gone to the children. So by the time you reach my age, you've got nothing. Okay, and that's the problem. So DuePoint for me, I know it can. I mean, it's worked for other people, and that's the thing. I look at people like Lynette Fricky, and I see it's worked for them. If it can work for them, it can work for all of us, and that's what keeps me going. I think to myself, well, come on, Teresa, what is wrong with you? You know, and that's why I keep on going. And obviously, the more that you put in, the more that you're going to get out. And I think also it's not only about how hard you work, it's also about facing your inner sort of fears. You know, should I speak to that person? Shouldn't I speak to that person? And it's not because you're worried about what he thinks of you. It's just that you've just got to sort of get out there and actually go and do it. So I think that's what holds most people back, is that they just got to get out there and go and do it. Yeah, so for me, DuePoint is the answer. It's actually the solution to everything. Besides the retirement, as Rob was saying, you don't only just want to survive in life. You actually want to start having a bit more fun. I mean, heavens, I've still got 20 years left. I don't know, 15, 20 years left. I'm hoping. And I really want to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go out and I want to go and travel and do whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I want to go and run all over the world and hike, and there's so much. You know, sometimes I feel sorry for people that live in their little boxes and they don't see anything further than that, you know, and I'll give an excuse, oh no, I'm happy as I am. But there's so much to life, and we are missing out if we're not experiencing. That for me is another reason why I'm in DuePoint, is I've got to get out there and go, and whilst I'm still fit enough to be able to, I don't want to be 85, 90 and then I can't do anything anyway. So I may as well try and do it now. And through DuePoint, I definitely believe I can do it.
And your ability to do the business, the process of it, all the way out in Knysna, what has that been like?
Okay, well, Knysna, I mean, it's not in the Bundus. You know, there are people there. So I've been in network marketing for many years. I joined network marketing in 1997. So I'm very used to picking up the phone, phoning up people, making appointments, going to have a cup of coffee with them, showing them business. That I can do, and I don't mind doing it. But in the last sort of, you know, with the social media aspect of it, I've had to get more in tune with it. You know, about a year ago, one of the ladies in my business, she's 80, her and I were sort of trying to figure out all this stuff, and we were like, you know, and we sort of gave up on it because we realized we're sending out these messages and sending out these, and we're not getting any response. And, you know, it was just, I thought, oh my God, this is so much slower. And I mean, I'd rather just pick up the phone and go and meet someone and have coffee, and they say yes or no, and off I go, you know. So I gave up on it. But then, you know, in America, everyone does network marketing online. And I thought, you know, Teresa, you have to now start learning how to do it properly online, because it is the present and it is the future. And why I like it is it's duplicatable. Most people will come up to you and they say, oh, I don't want to go and meet somebody for coffee, or I can't do this, or I can't. But everybody can sit on their laptop and send out videos. I mean, it's really, and the system, I mean, the whole videos, everything that you've put together is actually brilliant. So I knew I had to learn how to do it. And that's what so it's trial and error. It's been trial and error with me in the last 6 months. We've been trying this. And the biggest thing I've found is I send out voice notes actually. And I send out voice notes, I get at least 60% response. Yes, they want more information. Then I send them the information. But the biggest thing is the follow-up with social media. It's quite a process. Following up, have you watched the video, then actually phoning people. I still use the phone and talk to people, you know, because people are frightened to talk to people these days. But I think it's important, because otherwise it's too easy for them just to give you a little message back, oh, I'm not interested. So I actually also use the phone, you know, and I found, so it's a mixture of the old school and the new school is what actually works. And the follow-up is, and it really works. I mean, I've been experimenting, and what I also do is I have a reconciliation. So I write down every day how many videos I've sent out, or how many phone calls I've sent out. And at the end of the week, end of the month, I do a recon. And I say, okay, I've sent out 100 videos, and I signed on one person. So then I know if I want to sign on 10 people, how many videos I've got to send out? 1,000. So, but I don't only do online. I also make a few phone calls. I put in a few adverts, you know, various things. And I found that really works well for me. And the reason why I've stopped, well, I haven't stopped. I just think that you've got to find a duplicatable method. And that for me is online is the most duplicatable. Everybody feels comfortable with that, don't they? Because they don't actually have to speak to people. They don't have to feel embarrassed. They don't have to speak. They can send a message to anyone, even if it's their doctor, that they wouldn't have spoken to personally, but they can send him a message. So that's how I've been doing it. And it's working. Even my team in Knysna feels more comfortable getting stuck in. And it's daily activities. I also found that is really a key, is doing the same thing every single day. And when a person when a prospect client joins my business, I sit with him first and I find out what his schedule is. Okay, now I sit with him and I say, okay, how many hours a day do you work? When are you going to do DuePoint? And if he says to me, I can only do it an hour a day, I say, that's fine. An hour a day is fine. Then you can put in these few daily activities in that hour. If he says he's got half of the day, then I have a different plan for him. And I think that's the key. If it's a full time, then he can do the whole day. Is to show somebody how they can do it. I think that's key, because nobody really knows. And they'll just go out there and I'm going to sign on 10 people, but they haven't got any clue. So if you can sit with a person and show them how to do it, and then I also arrange a 3 sort of startup session. So in the I see that my first pointer 3 times. First session, I go through the invite, the process, all that stuff. Second session, we might talk about how to, do the. So it's a 3 session. If they live in Nelspruit or wherever they live, then it's either email, Skype. So there's all ways to do it. So, you've got to take care of the people that you bring into the business, but I also don't waste too much time with them either, because I think that's one has to also keep moving, because otherwise they can drag you down. And I also told my team the other day they've got to start learning to become leaders themselves instead of always relying on me.
Yeah, you've in our conversation committed to becoming more obsessive this year.
Yeah, definitely.
To what end?
Well, I have to definitely.
What do you want to get out of it?
Well, I've got to start earning a lot of money. No, seriously. I mean, this
How
is
much
ridiculous.
is a lot?
Well, for me, I mean, if I can get to rank 9 and earn the 20,000 or whatever it is, 20,000, that for me will be fantastic. And of course, the motor vehicle, I really have to get a new motor car. I've got a car, but it's old, like me. And it's not going to last forever. So I really have to get this motor car. I've got to prove to the family, and my sister's well off, and my brother does okay, and I'm the sort of always been the sort of country bumpkin kind of person, and so I've got to prove to them that I can do it, because they are sick of me. I've been in network marketing for 20 years, so I'm always going to make it. I mean, even my friends now I'm staying with in Johannesburg, they tell me I'm the pyramid queen. I mean, that's what I'm called. Because so now we've got to actually show them that finally we found a business that is going to do it. And I cannot wait for the day when I am actually in Mauritius or getting my car, and I promise you, every single one of those people, they're going to see those pictures. And so that's really my goal, is for myself and also just to brag.
The bragging's the best part. Paige, Peter, quickly tell us I've never been to Kokstad. Supposedly vibrant. What is business? What is it like doing DuePoint business for you guys? I would say remotely, away from head office, so to speak. A lot of people place value on being at head office, but we've got so many wealth engineers that disprove that assumption. So for you, what has business been like in process with DuePoint?
Well, life begins after 50, and I'm definitely not into social media. In fact, our community is a community that really doesn't understand so much of social media. So the simplicity of the app is superb for us. We can all go with in fact, most people have got a cell phone in their hands, and when I approach people, I say, "You've got a business in there, did you know that?"
Yeah.
And I show them. I love the app. It's actually the technology is outstanding. It is so user-friendly, even for someone like me who doesn't even know how to work the DSTV. But I'm learning. And that's what I love about this business too, is that there's development and growth. I read something the other day that someone in a general employment position, they sweat and they react. But a business person thinks and plans, and we can dream again. It's actually an amazing thing. But to actually have something that's simple to work, to actually add value to people's lives by showing them you can do this too, and it's simply, the business itself costs you nothing. It costs you absolutely nothing. DuePoint has done everything.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is use a product that they're actually already using. And by using a product and then telling your friend you've got a solution, you don't have to hustle anymore. You don't have to worry about where you're going to get the money to buy your really expensive tires. That's what I do. I approach people and I find something interesting about them. So if someone drives in with this amazing Mercedes-Benz, I say to them, you've got an amazing Mercedes-Benz here, but have you got the finance to pay for those tires if you get a puncture? We get punctures on our farm roads. And they say, whoa, aish. And then I say, well, have you got a solution for that? Would an extra 2,000 Rand a month make a difference to you? And that's when we start talking. And the thing that I approach people with is just to try and build up a little bit of trust, credibility, rapport. But if I see a father with his children in the shop, I just say to them, wow, that is so amazing. I love this picture. And then I talk to him about his circumstances. Are you feeling the economy, the crunch? Yes, we are. And then we just start talking. And we find out the problems, and then we give a solution. And it's all in our hand. It's simple. It's right there. We also use the card. I use the card, and I hand out that card.
Your business card.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not worry if people come back to me or don't come back to me. It's all about building DuePoint's credibility. People are going to see that card 6 months down the line, a year down the line, and they're going to say, wow, as the economy gets worse, as the crunch gets worse, people are going to say, I need a tool. That lady told me she had a tool. And I will give out the card to anybody and everybody with a big smile on my face because I have a solution. It's an amazing thing to be able to say to someone, how are you? I'm a nurse, so most people have got, just something they have to complain about. But when we've actually not only got a solution to someone's spiritual aspect or someone's health aspect, but to actually say, wow, I've got a financial tool as well that will cost you nothing financially, but it'll actually, all it costs you is to actually be generous to the person next door to you and keep on being generous for the rest of your life. You will retire and get a car. You will go on holidays. You will meet an incredible bunch of people. I have had so much support and help from this beautiful group of people in DuePoint. We went to the Durban convention. We went to the Cape Town convention. We've come here now to connect with people, to rub shoulders with people so that we can get the support we need and so that I can learn how to do social media because I want to use all the tools. I want to use all the tools that are available to us and grow with this business. It's exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Let's put our chairs back. Thank you. And as Paige said, You've got everything at your disposal. Every single thing, whether you want to do it face-to-face with individuals, whether you want to do it over social media, it is up to you. You might be one of those extroverts. Extroverts build the business. Introverts build the business. I was saying that today, right? It doesn't matter who you are, but deep down, every single one of us require connection, right? We need to have this understanding that we have value and dignity, and that is what DuePoint is trying to give people. When we speak about financial impact, we're speaking about the dignity it affords everybody. Because money can solve a lot of problems, right? And it does. It gives us our dignity. Teresa was saying she wants to throw it in her family's face. One day that will happen. It will. Become obsessed with this business this year. It is going to happen for you in the short term, right? Thank you, guys. Getting started in our business for those guests, very straightforward. 4 steps. Number 1, register yourself as a wealth engineer. The person hosting you can help you do that. It is literally a matter of 5 minutes of going through the application form. Download the DuePoint app. That is your tool in your hand, regardless of where you are in South Africa, right? That allows you to build a channel and then start watching the training videos. Our business, this business is about personal development. Personal development, right? If you want to change your circumstance, you have to change yourself. And so we love to focus on personal development. Go watch the videos, not only about system, it's about personal development too. Go watch them. Become an expert in this business that can create recurring income, and then finally to start earning in the business. And we're all here for the money at the end of the day. To start earning money, it starts at 3 people. You have to connect 3 people before DuePoint starts paying you. And so that becomes your first goal at DuePoint. How do I connect 3 people? You connect 3 people, DuePoint will start paying you. And if you can connect 3, you can connect 3,000. You can connect 3,000, right? It is just a matter of that regular commitment. Join us on our social media platforms. This allows us to engage with you wherever you are in the country. We are active daily on these social media channels because we are trying to foster a community wherever you are in the country. Download the mobile app for your Android and Apple devices. Very importantly, go to our website, get some merchandise for yourself. Right? Paige was saying how important is those business cards that she uses. Go get business cards, a notepad, a pen. Why? Because you're not employees here. I'm not going to give you business cards. I'm not going to give you a shirt. Get it for yourself. Invest in that aspect of the business. Why? Because when you go speak to people, you need to exude credibility. People need to look at you and go, this person is serious about this business they're talking about. I can see they're invested in this business. I can trust them a little bit more. I will listen to them a little more intently. So go make sure you get yourself some merchandise. And with that, folks, I thank you and appreciate your time this evening. And my sincere wish for every audience that I get to address is that you are able to find prosperity for yourself. Not ultimately, now. Now, this year. It is not going to happen outside. It is not going to happen. I'm sorry to say. Right? But again, I'm preaching to the choir because you're here looking for something for yourselves. Right? Because you know you need something. You need to do something for yourself. That is very liberating to know that I can do something where the effort I put in results in something that I'm looking for. You put extra effort at work, your boss is not going to give you a raise. It doesn't happen, right? Here, you put in the effort, you will derive results out of it. And that is just awesome. And you can do it in your first month, in your first week here at DuePoint. You can connect 3 people tonight. Are you going to speak to someone tonight? The introverts are going, no. Extroverts are going, yes. The introverts do it on social media. Tell someone about this business. Get stuck in. Find prosperity this year for yourself. That is my wish for you. Thank you. Good night.